Two people are now in jail charged in connection to a 3-year-old's death. Amore Smallwood died at a Corbin hospital in February. State police described horrific injuries at the hands of the mother's boyfriend, Jordan Taylor.
But now Amore's mother, Alexandra Ward, is also facing charges. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the new developments in the case out of Whitley County.
Family and friends, some wearing Justice for Daddy's Princess t-shirts, came to the Whitley County Courthouse Monday morning. An indictment was possible for Jordan Taylor, already charged with the murder of his girlfriend's 3-year-old daughter, Amore Smallwood.
He is the primary actor. The issue becoming mom is that she knew about it. She knew about the abuse. She knew about the bruises. She knew about the injuries. And we have proof of that.
Jordan Taylor was indicted for murder, sodomy, and strangulation. Amore's mother, Alexandra Ward, was indicted on complicity charges and then was led out of the courthouse in handcuffs.
And parents that fail to protect their children from suffering consequences like this are liable for the crime as if they committed it themselves.
This crime happened all the way back in late February. We are told that the child was found unresponsive. She was then rushed to Baptist Health Corbin, where she was pronounced dead. The sheriff's office was the initial agency that responded.
State police testified that Amore suffered blunt force trauma from head to toe and multiple brain bleeds. It isn't known if the abuse happened all at once or over time.
That question's still out right now. We have several doctors reviewing Amore, reviewing parts of her body. It's not just an autopsy. We've hired experts from different parts of the country to review different parts of her anatomy.
Bowling says it is the worst crime that he's ever seen, and he says he will be seeking the death penalty against Jordan Taylor. In Whitley County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Both suspects will be arraigned at separate hearings next month.
A Wolfe County man and Morgan County woman have been indicted for abuse of an adult. A Wolfe County grand jury indicted 43-year-old Vanessa Cochran of West Liberty and 38-year-old Billy L. Patton of Campton on one count each of abuse of an adult following an investigation by the Office of Medicaid Fraud and Abuse Control. The Kentucky Attorney General's office revealed the indictments earlier today. The charge is a Class C felony.
A former nurse in Letcher County pleaded guilty this morning to sex acts involving a 16-year-old boy. WYMT's R.J. Johnson has more on that.
Through records obtained by the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, this morning, Carrie Lee Hall pled guilty to all charges of her having sexual relations with the minor.
But in this case, the defendant this morning with her counsel entered guilty pleas to all charges. Each and every indictment, there were a total of 6 indictments during that, as I said, narrow period in September of 2020.
Hall engaged in sexual acts with the then 16-year-old victim. Commonwealth's Attorney Edison Banks II says she was no stranger to the family.
She had children that were of similar age that were friends. They had been family friends for several years at that point. And during that period is when the vast majority of the events occurred.
At the time of the acts, she was watching after the victim and his 2 siblings while their father was in the hospital. Because of this, she was listed as a person of position of trust.
The period that she was watching, had volunteered to let the juvenile and his brother and sister stay with her while the father was in the hospital at Pikeville on a ventilator.
Honor Banks tells me that she will continue to be housed in the Letcher County Jail until sentencing on June 7th. In Letcher County, R.J. Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Banks says Hall will most likely have to register as a sex offender after sentencing.
A Central Kentucky man was arrested for driving under the influence after a car crash in London last week. Police were dispatched to a 2-vehicle injury crash around 5:45 p.m. last Friday and determined that one of the drivers, 31-year-old William C. Johnson of Nicholasville, was under the influence. Johnson told officials he had used meth earlier. He was charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence and was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center.
A Corbin man was arrested for driving under the influence after being pulled over for an equipment violation 30-year-old Ali Chaudhry was arrested late last Thursday evening after a traffic stop 9 miles south of London. Police pulled Chaudhry over for an equipment violation and noted the smell of alcohol on his breath. Chaudhry was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center.
Police in Powell County are still trying to identify a suspect after he robbed a Stanton Shell 1 year ago. Take a look at your screen. Stanton police reported an armed robbery by a man with a face covering on April 16th of last year. Anyone who recognizes this person is asked to contact the City of Stanton Police Department via Facebook or call the Powell County Dispatch non-emergency line at 606-663-4116.
The city of Louisville is dealing with back-to-back tragedies, 2 deadly mass shootings in less than a week. They are just 2 of the more than 100 mass shootings in the United States so far this year. Today, the Kentucky Black Legislative Caucus called for change. They are showing their support for the so-called Tennessee 3 legislators and calling for comprehensive gun control legislation here in Kentucky.
We're going to support those who are standing up for democracy, in other words, full and free expression. We're standing up for that. That's very important. Understand these issues are intertwined because when people are in power, sometimes they lose perspective over what their responsibility is.
Representative George Brown Jr. says he has filed several gun safety bills that have not been called or been in committee the last few sessions, but he hopes to see change in the future. While the legislative session has ended this year in Kentucky, Governor Beshear could call a special session to address a specific issue.
Well, the clouds we woke up today with, long gone. Beautiful blue skies out there, and if you look closely, our camera, at least it was a few minutes ago, if you look real closely, it's shaking. It is breezy out there. Pikeville Medical Center camera at the moment, and you see those temperatures have stayed in the low to mid 60s out there. That's below normal, but still not necessarily uncomfortable, just a little below normal. What it has been is breezy. In the low to mid 20-mile-per-hour gust range, a lot of us around 30. Peak gusts have been near 40 at times throughout the day. That's also leading to an increase in the potential for wildfires out there. So I know our 6 p.m. deadline is passed. Still probably not a good idea to burn outside the rest of tonight and even tomorrow. A look outside, plenty of sunshine. Those clouds off to the north. Your forecast first this evening. Not looking too bad. Temperatures in the mid-50s, dropping into the 50s as we head closer to the overnight as those winds slowly calm down at least a touch. Details, though, on when we see a return to some milder air in a few minutes. Olivia?
Thank you, Evan. Governor Andy Beshear has ordered flags at all state buildings to be lowered at half-staff tomorrow to honor 2 of the Fort Campbell soldiers who died in a training exercise. The flags will be lowered from sunrise to sunset. 23-year-old Emily Marie Eve Bolanos and 30-year-old Taylor J. Mitchell died a little more than 2 weeks ago after 2 Black Hawk helicopters crashed during a routine training mission in Trigg County in western Kentucky. A celebration of life for Bolanos will be held tomorrow in Clarksville, Tennessee, while Mitchell's will be held tomorrow in Clarksville.
A power company servicing people in 20 counties across eastern Kentucky is no longer being sold.
WYMT's Chandler Wilcox details how the deal was terminated and what their vision is moving forward.
An agreement that would sell Kentucky Power from American Electric Power, also known as AEP, to another power company, Liberty, has been terminated.
We started this process nearly 2 years ago, and there have been delays all along the way.
Wiseman said conditions on the agreement continued to change as well. However, they are confident reliability will continue growing under AEP, which has owned Kentucky Power for decades.
We're, digging in to look at what we can do to obviously help with our rate structure, how we can be a partner, a stronger partner, even than we have been in economic development.
Looking to be a stronger partner is a key component of Wiseman's leadership plan as the new president of Kentucky Power. Wiseman was the interim president to start off 2023 before becoming the full-time president and chief operating officer.
We're always working to find ways to improve our reliability. Electricity is a must-have. It's a driver for economic development. So that is a top priority as well. And then finding a way to keep rates affordable.
Kentucky Power officials say that customers do not need to take action. No account or other information will be changed. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
American Electric Power President Julie Sloat said in a news release that the company is renewing their focus on Eastern Kentucky and will work on creating opportunities.